Kerala Electricity Supply Code 2014. KCRC, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission. CGRF, Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum. Ombudsman, Regulations 2005. For departmental exam, in-service exam, PSC exams, UPSC exams, various other exams, officials and public. The Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and Electricity Ombudsman Regulations 2005. In accordance with the provisions of subsection 1 of section 181, 181 and subsection 2 R, S and ZB of section 181 of the Electricity Act 2003, Central Act 36 of 2003, the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission hereby makes the following regulations, namely, Chapter 1 General. 1. Short title and commencement. 1. These regulations may be called the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and Electricity Ombudsman Regulations 2005. 2. They shall come into force on the date of their publication in the official gazette. Then 2. Definitions. 1. In these regulations, unless the context otherwise requires, A. Act means the Electricity Act 2003, Central Act 36 of 2003. B. Area of supply means the area within which a distribution licensee is authorized by his, her or their license to supply electricity. C. Chairperson means the chairperson of the forum. D. Commission means the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission. E. Complainant means 1. Any consumer of electricity supplied by the licensee, including applicants for new connections. 2. A voluntary electricity consumer association, forum or other body, corporate or group of electricity consumers. 3. The central government or state government who or which makes the complaint. 4. In case of death of a consumer, his legal heirs or representatives. F. Complaint means any grievance made by a complainant in writing on 1. Defect or deficiency in electricity service provided by the licensee. 2. Unfair or restrictive trade practices of licensee in providing electricity services. 3. Charging of a price in excess of the price fixed by the Commission for Supply of Electricity and Allied Services. 4. Errors in billing. 5. Erroneous disconnection of supply. 6. Electricity services which are unsafe or hazardous to public life in contravention of the provisions of any law or rule in force. Or 7. Any other grievance connected with the supply of electricity by the licensee except those related to the following. 1. Unauthorized use of electricity as provided under section 126 of the Act. 2. Offences and penalties as provided under sections 135 to 139 of the Act. And 3. Accident in the distribution, supply or use of electricity under section 161 of the Act. G. Consumer means any person who is supplied with electricity for his own use by a licensee and includes any person whose premises are connected for the purpose of receiving electricity with the works of a licensee, or a person whose electricity supply is disconnected by a licensee, or the person who has applied for connection for receiving electricity from a licensee, as the case may be. H. Defect means any fault, imperfection or shortcoming in the quality, quantity, purity or standard of service, equipment or material which is required to be maintained by or under any law in force or under any contract, express or implied, or as is claimed by the distribution licensee in any manner whatsoever in relation to electricity service. Then I. Deficiency means any fault, imperfection, shortcoming, or inadequacy in the quality, nature, and manner of performance which is required to be maintained by or under any law in force or has been undertaken to be performed by distribution licensee in pursuance of a contract agreement or otherwise in relation to electricity service or performance standard, violation of electricity supply code, contravention of act, rules or regulations made there under with regard to consumer interest. J. Distribution system means the system of wires and associated facilities between the delivery points on the transmission lines or the generating station terminal in the absence of transmission lines and the point of connection to the installation of the consumers. K. Electricity Ombudsman means an authority to be appointed or designated by the Commission under subsection 6 of section 42 of the Act, with whom a representation may be made by any consumer who is aggrieved by non redressal of his grievances by the forum. L. Electricity service means in particular and without prejudice to the generality of the term electricity supply, metering, billing, maintenance of supply, maintenance of distribution system, and all other attendant subservice, etc. M. Forum means forum for redressal of grievances of consumers to be constituted by the distribution licensee. N. Licensee means a person who has been granted a license under section 14 of the Act. Then 2. Words and expressions used and not defined in these regulations but defined in the Electricity Act 2003, Central Act 36 of 2003 or the Consumer Protection Act 1986, Central Act 68 of 1986 shall have the meanings respectively assigned to them in these acts. Chapter 2. Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum. 3. Establishment and composition of the forum. 1. Every distribution licensee shall establish a forum or fora for redressal of grievances of the consumers in accordance with these regulations. 2. A licensee may establish the required number of fora so as to ensure that any consumer in the area of supply of the licensee shall not have to travel more than about 200 km to submit his complaint with the forum for redressal. The concentration of the consumer in a particular area and the number of complaints likely to be received and the constraints of the forum is disposing of the complaints within the stipulated time frame may also be taken into account. Then 3. The forum shall consist of 3 members including the chairperson. A. The chairperson and 1 member to be appointed by the licensee from among his employees shall be person of ability, integrity and standing who have adequate knowledge of and have shown capacity in dealing with the problems of electrical engineering, finance, law or administration in power sector. B. 1 member shall be nominated by the Commission for a period of 3 years from among persons having 1. Degree in law obtained from the recognized university and approved by the Bar Council of India, and 2. Not less than 3 years of experience as an advocate practicing before subordinate courts. 3. Proven ability, integrity, standing and familiarity with consumer affairs, provided that no person who is or has been an employee of any distribution licensee shall be nominated by the Commission as a member of the forum. And 3A. Validation. Notwithstanding anything contained in the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and Electricity Ombudsman Regulations 2005. As amended by these regulations, any action taken or done by a member nominated by the Commission for a period of 1 year from such nomination under Clause B of Subregulation 3 of Regulation 3 of the said regulation but continued to discharge his functions as such a member shall be deemed to have been validly taken or done under these regulations as if his term has been extended up to the date of commencement of these regulations. 4. The chairman and members of the forum shall have working knowledge of Malayalam. 6. Forum's office and working. 1. The headquarters of the forums shall be at such places as the distribution licensee may specify in accordance with. 2. The forum shall have sittings at the headquarters and or at any other place in the licensee's area as may be decided by the chairperson depending upon the number of grievances and area of operation. Then 3. The forum shall meet at least once in a month. The forum shall meet at least once in a month. 4. The office space, secretarial assistance and other facilities required by the members for efficient functioning of the forum shall be provided by the distribution licensee. Then 5. Expenditure of the forum. 1. The distribution licensee shall meet all costs and expenses of the forum, including the remunerations and fees to the members, salaries and allowances of other members of the staff, establishment charges and office expenses. The member nominated by the Commission shall be entitled for a sitting fee decided by the Commission from time to time and travelling allowance eligible for Class 1 officers of the Government of Kerala. 2. The expenditure of the forum will be considered in the revenue requirement of the licensee and will be allowed as a pass-through expense. Then 6. Jurisdiction of the forum. Subject to the other provisions of these regulations, the forum shall have jurisdiction to entertain the complaints within the entire area of the distribution licensee. If there is more than one forum in the same licensee area, then the area of jurisdiction may be decided by the licensee in accordance with Regulation 3, Subregulation 2. Regulation 3, Subregulation 2. Then 7. Kind of grievances that can be taken up by the forum. The forum shall take up any kind of grievances, complaints as defined in Regulation 2, Subregulation 1, Subregulation F. Then 8. Licenses obligations. 1. The licensee shall notify details such as names of the forum members, its officials, their address, telephone numbers, email address, etc. often in the media. Then 2. The licensee shall make available copies of the procedure for lodging complaints to the complainants free of cost. Then 3. The bills issued by the licensee to the consumers shall contain the address of the Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum. The statement complainants whose grievance is not redressed by the official of the licensee may approach the Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and Ombudsman thereafter shall be printed on the bills. Then 4. The licensee shall necessarily obtain a post box number to facilitate easy registration of grievances by complainants. 5. The address and phone numbers of the chairperson of the Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and the Electricity Ombudsman shall be prominently exhibited in all the offices of the licensees for the information of the public. Then 9. Procedures for grievance redressal and lodging complaints. 1. Every grievance lodged with the forum shall be in writing in English, Malayalam and shall be in form attached to these regulations. The complaint can also be lodged through email to the email address of the forum. 2. The forum, if necessary, may call for any other additional information documents from the complaints and or licensee so as to enable early disposal of the complaint. 3. The forum can pass such interim orders pending final disposal of the case as may be appear to it to be necessary and must in the interest of justice. 4. Subject to the foregoing regulations and the need to observe the rules of natural justice, the forum may specify its own procedures. Then 10. Action on admission of complaint. 1. A copy of the complaint shall be forwarded by the forum to the distribution licensee within 3 working days so as to elicit for the response of the licensee to the grievance. 2. The licensee shall furnish parawise comments on the grievance within 15 days, 5 days of intimation from the forum, failing which the forum shall proceed on the basis of the material available on record. Then 3. The forum shall notify in writing the forum shall notify in writing the parties of the date of hearing of the grievance, giving sufficient advance notice. 4. In the event of absence of the parties in the hearing, the forum shall pass an order on the basis of the material available on record. 5. The forum shall be entitled to call for any information, call for any particulars, or take evidence, either oral or documentary, from the licensee or the consumer. 6. The decision of the forum shall be recorded in writing and communicated to the complainant and the licensee for compliance within a period of 60 days from the date of admission. Then 11. Proceedings of the forum. 1. The proceedings of the forum shall be conducted in public. 2. The proceedings of the forum shall be conducted by the chairperson of the forum in the presence of the members, the quorum being 2. In the absence of the chairperson for any reason, the member representing the distribution licensee shall preside over the forum. 3. Every order made by the forum shall be signed by its chairperson and the members conducting the proceedings, provided that in case of difference of opinion among the members on any point or points, the decision of the majority shall prevail. In the event of equality of votes, the chairperson presiding member shall have a second or casting vote. Then 12. Findings of the forum. 1. On completion of the proceedings, if the forum is satisfied that any of the allegations contained in the complaint is true, it shall issue an order to the licensee directing it A. To redress the grievance of the complainant, and B. To pay such amount as may be awarded as costs to the consumer. Then 2. A certified copy of the every order rendered by the forum shall be delivered to the parties. 3. Any complainant aggrieved by the order made by the forum may make a representation against such order to the ombudsman within a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of the order. 12A Review. 1. The forum may either on its own motion or an application of any person aggrieved by an order review its order on the following grounds, namely: 1. On the discovery of a new and important matter of evidence which after the exercise of due diligence was not with this acknowledged or could not be produced by him. 2. Make or error apparent on the face of the record. Then 2. An application under clause 1 shall be filed within a period of 15 days from the date of receipt of the order, provided that the forum may entertain an application after the expiry of the said period of 15 days if it is satisfied that the applicant had sufficient cause for not preferring the review within such period. 3. If on a preliminary examination of the application, if the forum found that there is no sufficient ground for review, it shall reject the application after affording an opportunity of being heard to the applicant. 4. In case where the review petition is admitted, the forum shall dispose of it within a period of 30 days from the date of admission after affording sufficient opportunity to the parties to the application. Then 13. Monitoring by the forum. 1. The forum shall maintain a record of complaints, grievances reported to it and the results thereof. 2. The forum shall furnish a quarterly report on the number of complaints received, redressed, and pending to the distribution licensee within 1 month at the end of the quarter. A copy of the report shall be forwarded to the Ombudsman and the Commission. 3. The Commission may publish the report in such forum and manner as it may deem fit. Then, Chapter 3 Electricity Ombudsman. 14. 1.4 Establishment of the Office of Ombudsman. 1. The Commission shall establish an authority to be called Electricity Ombudsman for the whole of the state of Kerala in the manner prescribed under these regulations. 2. The Commission shall be the appointing authority of the Electricity Ombudsman. 3. The working days and working hours of the Office of the Electricity Ombudsman shall be the same as those of the Commission as specified in the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission Conduct of Business Regulations 2003. Then 15. Qualifications and tenure of appointment. 1. The Ombudsman shall be an electrical engineer of ability, integrity, and standing who has experience of not less than 20 years in power sector. Knowledge in management, finance, or law is an additional qualification. The person shall have working knowledge of Malayalam. Then 2. The appointment of Ombudsman shall be made for a period not exceeding 3 years. Provided that the tenure of the Ombudsman may be extended by the Commission for a further period not exceeding 2 years, subject to an overall age limit of 65 years. Provided that the person appointed as Electricity Ombudsman shall not hold any other office during the tenure of his appointment and he shall not be eligible for reappointment. Then 15A, Selection of Electricity Ombudsman. 1. There shall be a committee consisting of the chairperson and members of the commission for the selection of the Electricity Ombudsman. 2. The chairperson of the commission shall be the chairperson of the selection committee. 3. The commission may include external expert or experts in the selection committee. 4. The selection committee shall invite applications from the eligible candidates with specified qualifications and experience by giving wide publicity through media and website of the Commission. 5. The selection committee shall, after conducting personal interview with the candidates, finalize the selection and select one among them for appointment as Electricity Ombudsman. 6. The Commission shall take advance action for the selection and appointment of Electricity Ombudsman so that there is no undue delay in appointment after the post falls vacant. 7. The Commission shall normally complete the process of selection and appointment within 2 months from the date of occurrence of vacancy by reason of death, resignation, or removal of the Electricity Ombudsman, provided that no appointment of Electricity Ombudsman shall be invalid merely by reason of not completing the process of selection and appointment within the said 2 months. 16. Location of office and jurisdiction. 1. The headquarters of the Ombudsman shall be at Kochi. 2. The jurisdiction of the Ombudsman shall extend to the whole of the state of Kerala. 3. The Ombudsman may hold sittings at places other than headquarters wherever necessary. Then 17. Pay and allowances of Ombudsman. The Ombudsman shall be entitled to have the pay and allowances applicable to the Chief Electrical Inspector in Government of Kerala subject to Sub-Regulation 3. 2. The Ombudsman shall be entitled to the revised pay scale as and when the pay scale applicable to the Chief Electrical Inspector is revised by Government of Kerala. Then 3. If the person appointed as Ombudsman is a retired officer receiving pension from government or any other institution, the pay and allowances admissible to such a person shall be reduced by the gross amount of pension including dearness relief and such other allowances if any received by him. Then 4. The pay and allowances of Ombudsman shall be met from the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission Fund constituted under Section 103 of the Act 103. Then 17A. Leave and encashment of leave. The Ombudsman shall be eligible for the leave and for the encashment of earned leave as are admissible to the officers of the government under the provisions of the Kerala service rules and the orders issued by government from time to time in this regard. Power 19. Powers and duties of the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman shall have the following powers and duties. A. To receive the representations against the order of the forum and consider such representation and facilitate their satisfaction or settlement by agreement through conciliation and mediation between the licensee and complainant or by passing an award in accordance with these regulations. B. To exercise general powers of superintendence and control over his office and assume responsibility for the conduct of business business threat. I don't know what is that. Then C. To incur expenditure on behalf of the office provided, however, in order to exercise such power, the Ombudsman will draw up B. To exercise general powers of superintendence and control over his office and assume responsibility for the conduct of business thereat. Then C. To incur expenditure on behalf of the office provided, however, in order to exercise such power, the Ombudsman will draw up an annual budget for his office in consultation of the Commission and shall exercise the powers of expenditure within the approved budget. Then 20. Removal of Ombudsman. 21. Procedure for redressal of grievance. 21. Procedure for redressal of grievance. Then 20. Removal of Ombudsman. No person shall be appointed and or be entitled to continue as Ombudsman if he stands disqualified on account of his 1. Having been adjudged and insolvent. 2. Having been convicted of an offence involving moral turpitude. 3. Having become physically or mentally or otherwise incapable of acting as an ombudsman. 4. Having acquired such financial or other interest as is likely to affect prejudicially his function as an ombudsman. 5. Having abused his position as to render his continuance in office prejudicial to the public interest. 6. Having been guilty of proved misbehavior. 7. Having become a member of a political party. Then 21. Procedure for redressal of grievance. 1. The Ombudsman shall settle the complaint of the complainant within such time as in such manner as specified in these regulations. 2. Any complainant who is aggrieved by the non-redressal of his grievances by the forum may himself or through his representative make a representation to the Ombudsman within 30 days from the date of the receipt of the order of the forum, provided that the Ombudsman may entertain a representation after the expiry of the said period of 30 days if he is satisfied that there was sufficient cause for not filing it within the said period. Then 3. The representation shall be in writing duly signed by the complainant as per form be attached to these regulations. Then 22. Maintainability of the complaint. 1. No representation to the Ombudsman shall lie A. Unless the complainant has made a written representation in the prescribed form to the forum. B. Unless the complainant is aggrieved on account of his complaint being not redressed by the forum within the period and manner specified in these regulations. C. Unless the representation against an order of the forum was made within the period specified in these regulations and is not in respect of the same subject matter that has been settled by the Ombudsman in any previous proceedings. D. In case where a representation for the same grievance by the complainant is pending in any proceedings before any court, tribunal or arbitrator or any other authority or a decree or award or a final order has already been passed by any such court, tribunal, arbitrator or authority. 2. The Ombudsman may reject the representation at any stage if it appears to him that the representation is 1. Frivolous, vexatious, malefic, 2. Without any sufficient cause, 3. Not being pursued by the complainant with reasonable diligence, 4. There is no prima facie loss or damage or inconvenience caused to the complaint. Then 23. Disposal of representation by Ombudsman. 1. The representation admitted by the Ombudsman shall be, I repeat, 23. Disposal of representation by Ombudsman. 1. The representation admitted by the Ombudsman shall be disposed of within a period of 3 months from the date of receipt of the representation, provided that in the event of the representation being disposed of after the completion of the said period of 3 months, the Ombudsman shall record in writing the reasons for the same. Then 2. The representation shall be disposed of either through settlement by agreement or through proceedings held by the Ombudsman to hear the parties. 3. The Ombudsman shall be guided by such factors which in the opinion of the Ombudsman are necessary in the interest of justice and shall ensure transparency while exercising its powers and discharging its functions. 4. Subject to the foregoing provisions and the need to observe the rules of natural justice, the Ombudsman may specify its own procedures. 5. The Ombudsman, having regard to the necessity for immediate relief to the petitioner to carry out provisions of Electricity Act 2003 and rules regulations framed thereunder to prevent inability to restore status quo and or prevent defeat of law, can pass an interim order after recording reasons, provided that any licensee or consumer affected by the interim order and who has not given the opportunity to be heard can file objections, reply or rejoinder and seek modification of such order on sufficient grounds within 30 days of receipt of notice of the order. Then 24. Power to call for information. 1. For the purpose of carrying out his duties, the Ombudsman may require the licensee named in the complaint or any of his officers to furnish certified copies of any document relating to the subject matter of the complaint, which is or is alleged to be in his possession within 15 days, provided that in the event of failure of a licensee to comply with the requisition without any sufficient cause, the Electricity Ombudsman may, if he deems fit, draw the interference that the information, if provided, or copies, if furnished, would be unfavorable to the licensee, and proceed to settle the case on the basis of material available on record. 2. The electricity ombudsman shall maintain confidentially of any information or document coming into his knowledge or possession in the course of discharging his duties, and shall not disclose such information or document to any person except with the consent of the person furnishing such information or document, provided that nothing in this clause shall prevent the electricity ombudsman from disclosing information or document furnished by a party in a complaint to other party or parties to the extent considered by him to be reasonably required to comply with the principles of natural justice and fair play in the proceedings. Then 25. Settlement of representation by agreement. 1. As soon as it may be practicable to do, the electricity ombudsman shall cause a notice of the receipt of any complaint along with a copy of the complaint to the concerned office of the licensee named in the complaint, and endeavour to promote a settlement of the complaint by agreement between the complainant and the licensee named in the complaint through conciliation or mediation. Then 2. For the purpose of facilitating settlement of the representation, the electricity ombudsman may follow such procedures as he may consider appropriate. 3. When a complaint is settled through mediation of the electricity ombudsman undertaken by him in pursuance of request made in writing by complainant and licensee through mutual agreement, the electricity ombudsman shall make a recommendation which he thinks fair in the circumstances of the case. The copies of the recommendation shall be sent to the complainant and the licensee concerned. Such a recommendation shall be made not later than 1 month from the date of the receipt of the complaint. 4. The electricity ombudsman shall send to the licensee a copy of the recommendation along with the acceptance letter received from the complainant. The licensee thereupon comply with the terms of the recommendations immediately, not later than 21 days of the receipt of such recommendations, and the licensee shall inform the electricity ombudsman of its compliance. Proceedings to hear the parties. 1. Where the representation is not settled by agreement under Regulation 25, the electricity ombudsman may determine the stage, the manner, the place, the date and the time of the hearing of the matter as he considers appropriate. 2. The electricity ombudsman may decide the matter on the pleadings of the parties and direct the parties to furnish written note of arguments or submission in the matter. 3. The ombudsman shall be entitled to call for any information, particulars, or take evidence, either oral or documentary, from the licensee or complainant. Then 27. 1. Where the representation is not settled by agreement under Section 25, the electricity ombudsman shall pass a speaking order with detailed reasoning that he thinks fair under the facts and circumstances of the representation. 2. The order shall be in writing and shall state the full details of the award to the complainant and licensee. 3. A copy of the award shall be sent to the complainant and the licensee named in the representation. 4. The distribution licensee shall comply with the orders of the ombudsman. 5. The distribution licensee or concerned official named in the representation of the complainant award of the ombudsman shall submit a report on complaints of the order award to the ombudsman within 3 months or within the time specified in the order award, whichever is earlier, provided that the ombudsman shall have the power to extend the period of 3 months or the time specified as above on being satisfied that such extension of time is reasonable and in the interest of justice. Non-compliance of awards, orders, directions of the Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum and Ombudsman by distribution licensee shall be considered as non-compliance of the provisions of Electricity Act 2003 and the regulations made there under the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission shall proceed accordingly. Then 27A, review. 1. The electricity ombudsman may either on its own motion or an application of any person aggrieved by an order review its order on the following grounds, namely: 1. On the discovery of a new and important matter or evidence which, after the exercise of due diligence, was not with his knowledge or could not be produced by him. 2. Mistake or error apparent on the face of the record. Then 2. An application under clause 1 shall be filed within a period of 15 days from the date of receipt of the order, provided that the electricity ombudsman may entertain an application after the expiry of the said period of 15 days if it is satisfied that the applicant had sufficient cause for not preferring the review within such period. 3. If on a preliminary examination of the application, if the electricity ombudsman found that there is no sufficient ground for review, it shall reject the application after affording an opportunity of being heard to the applicant. 4. In cases where the review petition is admitted, the electricity ombudsman shall dispose of it within a period of 30 days from the date of admission after affording sufficient opportunity to the parties to the application. 28. Report of electricity ombudsman. 1. The electricity ombudsman shall prepare a report on monthly basis giving details of the nature of the grievances of the consumer dealt by the ombudsman, the response of the licensees, and the final decision taken by the ombudsman. Then chapter 4, miscellaneous. 31. Savings. Nothing contained in these regulations shall affect the rights and privileges of the consumers under any other law for the time being in force, including the Consumer Protection Act 1986, 1986, Central Act 68 of 1986, Central Act 68 of 1986, 1986. Then 32. Powers to remove difficulties. If any difficulty arises in giving effect to any of the provisions of these regulations, the Commission may, by general or special order, direct the licensee to take suitable action not being inconsistent with the Electricity Act 2003, which appears to it to be necessary or expedient for the purpose of removing difficulties. Then 33. Power to amend. The Commission may at any time add, modify, delete, or amend any provision of these regulations subject to the provisions of the Electricity Act 2003. 34. Regulations to be available to the consumers. The licensee shall ensure that copies of the regulations are made available to the consumers on payment of a sum which shall not exceed the cost of printing or taking photocopies. Thank you.